In order for the program to generate your action plan to-do list, it needs to understand your financial situation. There are three main sections in the program where this information will be provided: Action Plan, Budget, and Accounts. Let's start with the Accounts tab. Accounts consists of bank accounts in green and debts in these pink tones. You're the one who tells the program what the interest rates are, what the balances are, and what the payment amounts and due dates are. And you can edit that information here on the right of each account. That does not mean, however, that you have to come to the Accounts screen and edit your account balances every time you deposit a paycheck or pay a bill. The program will automatically change your balances for you when you report on the action plan that you have deposited your income or paid a bill, which we'll discuss in a few minutes. You'll notice that you can also see the history of each account here on the right. On the left, you can filter your list of accounts to see just your bank accounts, your creditors and loans, or mortgages. On the right of each account, you can see the history for that particular account by clicking History. This will show you the history of every action you have executed in your program related to that account. Once you have finished setting up the information in your Accounts tab, you won't be spending much time here on a regular basis. Most of your activity in the program will occur on the Action Plan, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Let's talk next about the Budget tab, though. The Budget screen consists of incomes in green and expenses in pink and gray. Income is money that you receive on a regular basis, and expenses are bills that you pay regularly that do not carry a balance or interest rate. That means that we're not going to list your mortgage, car loans, or credit cards under the Budget tab. They're already listed under the Accounts tab that we looked at a moment ago. The expense list should consist of things like groceries, gas for your car, your utilities and insurance, as well as entertainment expenses like date night or bowling league. You'll notice that your expenses start out as a single grand total expense, but you can choose to itemize your expenses if you wish. For instructions on how to itemize your expenses, please watch the How to Itemize Your Expenses video. If you ever need to add a new group of expenses or a new income, you can use the buttons provided on the left. If you need to edit an income or expense, click Edit to the right of that income or expense. An example of when you would need to do this is if you get a raise at work and your income was now going to be $200 more per paycheck. Many incomes and expenses fluctuate from month to month, and that's okay. The numbers you're listing on your budget screen are averages for the purposes of creating an expectation for the program. We'll talk in a few minutes about how to report the actual, real-life amounts. Just as with the Accounts page, once you have finished setting up your budget page information, you won't be spending much time on this page. Between the information about your income and expenses that you provide on the budget screen, and the information you provide about your debts and bank accounts on the Accounts page, the program now understands what your financial situation is like and will use that information to generate the action plan. The action plan is your to-do list created using the information you provided under Budget and Accounts. Each line on the action plan is called an action, and it's simply something that the program is expecting you to do with your money based on what you've told the program to expect. For example, under the Budget tab, we've told the program to expect John to be paid semi-monthly on the 1st and 15th of each month. So you'll see John's income on the 1st and 15th of each month on the action plan. For a more detailed overview of the action plan, please watch the Guide to the Action Plan video. Let's use John's income as an example. Reading the action from left to right, the program says that on June 1st it is expecting John to receive his income, called John, and to deposit it into his checking account in the expected amount of $1,300. Similarly, if we look further down on the action plan, we see another action for June 2nd in which the program has been told in the accounts section that John and Rebecca will use their checking account to pay their mortgage payment in the expected amount of $1,199.10. These are examples of what we call recurring actions, things that we have told the program to expect to happen over and over. Most of what happens in our financial lives does happen repeatedly, and we expect that. There are some actions that happen only once though, like having to fix a leaky roof, a bonus check from work, or buying a new barbecue grill. These are called one-time actions, and you can add them to your action plan when needed by clicking the Add New Action button on the right. In the box that pops up, you select the type of transaction you are adding to your action plan. Let's use a bonus check as an example. In that case, you would select Deposit. In the new box that pops up, you'll type Bonus Check in the From field, and in the To field, you'll select into which account you're going to deposit the bonus check. On the right, you'll type the amount of the expected deposit and the date that it is expected to happen. Below that, you'll assign this transaction a category and click Save. The action will be added to your action plan, but unlike a regularly occurring income or expense, this one-time action will only show up once on the date that you specified. Add New Action is a feature that you probably won't need to use every time you log into the program, since most of what happens with our finances is expected and already set up under the Budget and Accounts tabs. Add New Action will only be needed for the unexpected one-time things in life. Between the expectations for regularly occurring actions that you created in the Budget and Accounts tabs, and the one-time actions that you add in when needed, the program understands what is to be expected with your finances. As you're well aware though, life doesn't always happen the way that we thought it would. So as you do each of these actions in real life, you're going to cross off or execute each action, letting the program know that it has been done. Let's use the bonus check as an example. To execute the action once the bonus has been deposited in real life, you'll click once on the action and click Execute to the right of the action. In the Execute Action box that pops up, we have the opportunity to edit the information about this deposit before executing the action. On the right, we can change the amount if needed. For example, if John's bonus check was a little more than usual, we can change the amount to show how much was actually deposited. It is important that we don't guess or round off the amounts while executing actions, because the numbers we provide here are what the program is going to use to keep track of our balances in the Accounts section. Above that, we can change the date if the paycheck was deposited earlier or later than originally expected. After you've finished making whatever changes are needed to the date or amount, check Final Transaction, and then Execute. That action will then be removed from your action plan to-do list and will be moved to the All Accounts History page. For a bit more detailed explanation of executing actions, please watch the How to Execute an Action video. On the All Accounts History page, you can see a list of every action that you have executed. Think of your action plan as your to-do list and All Accounts History as your have done list. If you made a mistake while executing an action and need to change an amount or date, you can click Edit next to the transaction, make the change, and save it. The program will immediately update with the new information. By executing your actions on the action plan, you're telling the program what actually happened in real life, as opposed to what was expected to happen based on the information you provided in the Budget and Accounts tabs. This allows the program to adjust its debt elimination plan according to your real-life circumstances, ensuring that you are always on the fastest route out of debt. Logging into your program once a week or so to execute actions will help you not fall behind on your action plan. As you execute your actions, the program will keep track of where your balances stand and let you know when it's time to use your savings account reserve to make a strategic principal-only payment toward debt. Every time you receive income, the program will ask you to deposit it into your checking account, and it will ask you to use your checking account to pay your bills. Because you earn more than you spend, there is leftover money each month called discretionary income. That amount varies each month based on the ups and downs of your earning and spending, so the program will keep careful track of how much discretionary you have each month. Once or twice a month, the program will ask you to set aside that extra money into the savings account so that it is not accidentally spent, and you can see an example of that here on the action plan. Over the course of several months, the program will help you build up a reserve in the savings account. Once there is enough of a reserve, the program will prompt you to use that money to make a funds transfer payment to a debt. We can see an example of that here. For an in-depth explanation of how the program helps you get out of debt in record time while saving the most interest possible, please watch the How the Program Works and the Checking and Savings Method videos.